Hi everyone, it's Jody from An Eye for Beauty, and today is October 30th, 2022, and this message is for this week or whenever it is that your eyes are falling upon this message. Today we have 3 cards, so think if you want to go with card number 1 or pick card number 2 or card number 3. And of course, you can always just sit back, relax, and listen to the message. So before we begin, I just want to invite you to look at the 3 crystals that we have here: black obsidian, tiger's eye, and hematite. And I pulled these today. The energy in the universe is extremely dense. And what does dense mean? Because I always used to wonder the same thing. There's like a darkness, a heaviness over all of us, over certain areas, over certain situations, or over people. There has been a lot of passing on in this last week alone. I'm seeing again and again so many people that are passing on and dying. I just want to encourage you before we even begin this. I'm actually going to pull a card. Before we even begin this reading, I just want to say to you, have faith. Have faith that God is going to heal the situation that we are going through. And of course, it's a general reading. So whatever you're going through specifically, have faith, okay? I just want to start out with that. But black obsidian helps with negative energy, and I have them all over my house. I have one in my car, and it really helps you, especially typically when you're listening to a message like this. You are an empath. What is an empath? Somebody who feels energy, or somebody who takes on other people's energy. And the easiest way to describe that is when you walk in the room and there's a bunch of people there and you feel like, I got to get out of this room, it's heavy, or, ooh, it feels so great in here. Or you walk into a store or something like that. Maybe you're avoiding driving on certain roads because you're feeling the heaviness of the energy. Black obsidian is a great crystal that can help to take on that negativity so that it doesn't go on to you. Hematite is very similar. It has a magnetic quality. So what it does is it's great to wear a hematite bracelet or a hematite ring, which I don't have on, but imagine this was hematite. What would happen is it would take on negative energy. And lo and behold, eventually the ring or the bracelet would just fall to the ground and break. What does that signify? It signifies it did its job. It signifies it took on all the heaviness around you, all the negativity. Maybe it's environmental. There's a lot of stuff going on in the environment right now. Look up chemtrails. And maybe it's taking that on. And in doing so, it didn't get into your aura, into your physical body. So hematite is a great thing to wear. And then finally, tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is a crystal that really helps us to stand in our power, solar plexus energy. I always think of Archangel Uriel, standing in our truth, standing in our power, not wavering, being like a mountain, and letting nothing and no one change that position for you. So I invite you, if any of those 3 crystals resonated, to maybe purchase them because they can help and serve you. If you do decide to get these crystals, make sure you're clearing them. All you have to do is put them under water, room temperature. Please bring this crystal to its natural state and get rid of anything that is low of negative energy. Now, before we begin the reading, I just want to remind you, if you haven't yet, to subscribe, to follow, to like this, and to share it in case you think potentially after you watch it, it could help somebody else. Let's go with cards number 1. And also, there's 2 cards within each card reading. So we have here the loving woman and courage. And so this is a great 2 cards to come out for card number 1. First thing I want to remind you to do is put on your armor. So just as we just discussed with the crystals, I want you to imagine that you are putting on the armor that you need to protect you. I always like to call in Archangel Michael to help us with strength, courage, and protection. But now I want you to look at that card, and do you see right here, there's light. And he's standing more in a darker area, but the light is in front of him and he has to put on the armor to get there. So if you think about what I said in the very beginning of this reading, we talked about the heavy, dense energy, but then the card that came up was faith, have faith. And he or she has to put on this armor in order to go to the light, which means that he has to walk through the darkness. And so faith is part of what the armor is that is being put on. And so that's where the loving woman comes in. That means that we have to really get in a space, and this card, the loving woman, does not mean you're a woman. It could be male or female, but what it has to do with is your feminine energy. And so most of us are in a masculine state until we really start to do the self-healing, the personal growth, the spiritual growth. That's when we start to really feel our feelings. And might I remind you that when you feel your feelings, they feel really uncomfortable. So in order to really feel them, you got to put on the courage, the armor, in order to work through the feelings. But can you do this? Put on your armor, put on your protection, put on your armor of faith, put on your armor of love. Because even going through this darkness to get to the light, and you have this feeling of uncomfortableness, can you be in your heart and be of love and feel love even when it feels uncomfortable? It's very challenging to feel love and feel uncomfortable through the unknown to get to the light at the same time. But that's what you are being called to do if you chose card number 1. So this is your cards, and hopefully this resonates with you. And we're going to go on to cards number 2 because each one has 2 cards, but I have a feeling you're going to see a theme here. So let's look at card number 2. Card number 2 is the card Travel and Deception. So, of course, let's start with travel, and maybe you're going on a trip, or maybe you feel like you need a vacation or something to do with the basic needs of going overnight somewhere, packing your suitcase and getting out of wherever it is that you are. But what I really feel going on with this reading is that deception is a low, dense, negative energy. It's gossipy. It's just not pleasant. It's not loving. It's certainly not loving. And it's about talking about other people. And this is happening in our world, which is causing the dense, dark, heavy energy. And then it might even be happening in your personal life. But can you travel? Can you put on your armor? And can you travel to a place or to a mindset of being more only allowing in things that bring you joy, that bring you happiness, that make you feel light, that bring you love? This is what we're being called to really do, is to look at the deception that is going on around us and look at that dark, heavy energy that is going on around us and put on our armor. Put on our armor of courage. Put on our armor of faith. Put on our armor. Put on our hematite bracelet to really deflect the negativity. Put on our armor of love. Put on our armor of traveling into a positive mindset and not letting the negativity get to us. If you chose card number 2, maybe you got past this. Maybe you did put on armor and you are really, really amping up the courage inside of you to start walking the unknown path to the light. But then you heard something else, or you saw something else on the news, or somebody in the family told you something else about somebody else talking about you. And you're like, oh, here we go again. I can't even believe this now. How am I going to deal with this? And this card is saying, oh no. Travel to the joy, travel to the love, travel. Go take yourself somewhere and travel. Travel to do something or to be a certain way within yourself that is going to cause you love and have the faith that when you do that more and more for yourself, you do see the darkness dissipate. If you have ever heard of living a 3D life versus living a 5D life, this is exactly what this is. If I had to summarize it quickly for you. Living a 3D life is being on earth and doing all the earthly things and, getting the job and going to college and paying the bills and all of the things that you have to do to survive. It's surviving. It's survival mode. That's what it really is. When you live in a 5D, also 3D is also watching the news and, getting wrapped up in all the stuff that's going on in the world and around us. When you live in a 5D world, you're able to detach. You're able to realize that what once was said in society doesn't make it right, doesn't mean it even helped and served everybody. You realize that you can detach from all of the deception, all of the craziness. You realize that maybe your job isn't going to be a 9-to-5 job. Maybe it's going to be something different. Maybe it's going to be something artsy. You're able to be in a very different mindset. You travel to a different mindset. And within the same Earth universe, you're able to live differently, go about your life differently, a way that is more joyous than what we are experiencing in the 3D. So I feel like if you chose card number 2, you're starting to implement that in your life and you're being called to do more of that. Letting go of the negativity and not allowing any of this gossipy, dense, negative deception to get in your way. And then we have card number 3. And look at the cards. Joyous fun and the loving man. So we started out with the loving woman, which was really asking us to tap into our negative energy. And we end with the loving man. There he is. And joyous fun. And so that doesn't mean that it could mean a man is coming into your life, but that's not what it's saying. What it's saying is you have now felt your feelings and you're really coming to a place of balance, balancing the masculine energies, which is where you started out probably in trying to control things and the need to know things, and constantly going and going and going, and not allowing yourself to really step into your feeling side, your emotional side. But when this comes through, the loving man, it means that you're not in an aggressive masculine energy anymore. You understand that really feeling your feelings is actually something that can help and serve you. And now you have the loving woman to begin, the loving man to end. It's anchoring the reading. It shows that you have come to a place of finding the balance between work and play, between play. Here, look at that, work and play. This is work. This is play. Really bringing it down to understand that this is living a 5D life on the 3D earth plane that we live on right now. Being able to balance everything for ourselves, understanding that the connection we have to faith and trust is so, so important right now. When you choose card number 3, you really get it. You're wise beyond your years, even if you're 30 and you get this and you have so much life to live. Imagine knowing this and being able to go on into the world, into your life, and know all of this and take it with you. Allow the wisdom to come through you, because when you are more in alignment with the balance and the faith and shining your light, you are really helping everyone around you who maybe are having a hard time with it right now, but they see you as an example. They see that they too can somehow figure it out for themselves in their own way. So we got very deep, very fast, and I hope that you followed along. I feel like in the beginning of this reading, the energy that was coming through was very woo, woo, woo. And then in the end, we kind of softened. And that's really why we ended this way. In the beginning, when you're go, 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 you're very like, oh my God, I got to do it. And then when you realize that balance, then you're very soft. You can soften and be more vulnerable. So I hope that there was a lot in this message today that helped you, and I wish you a great day. Bye-bye.